You bet, Chris. And it's awesome seeing you. And I just want to say, now my voice is a little lower because we've got two girls who've been in our house, are younger, and then Donna's just joined them with a nice little cold. And I was bragging that I've avoided it, which you know what that does. So then so right now, if you see what you see me sipping is the Crud Buster recipe. Have you ever heard the Crud Buster?
Come on, bring it on. You can't leave here without that recipe.
1 Cinnamate,
Okay.
1 scoop of Infatuate, open up 2 capsules of NeuroIM, open up 2 capsules of SI. That's it. SI, IM, open up the capsules in it. It tastes awesome. Like awesome.
Sarah, are you going to type that for us? So we'll have it right there because I'm going to have
So
to.
packet of
get some-
Cinnamate, 1
Okay.
scoop of Infatuate. That's why it's creamy.
Oh,
Lots of good stuff though. Yeah, so I'm doing that this morning. Normally I'm jogging up in the mountains, even in the snow. I actually love running in the snow, believe it or not. If it's packed down, you got to
you're
get
the only
all geared up.
person who loves that. I'm
I
thinking
know.
your outfit had to do with
I know I'm weird.
something. I said, okay, he can't be cycling because it's snowing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
running in the mountains. Go figure.
There's some good
Jen
trails.
wants to go with you. I'm going to watch
Hey.
y'all in video.
When you come out, I'll absolutely. When you come out in the fall, if you're coming out in the fall, everyone who wants to go for a run together, we'll go. Absolutely. I
You know,
love
Greg,
it. It just clears my head.
You ought to throw down a challenge and
Mhm.
get us physically ready to go hike. What is it? The Poconolas or the who's the
Timpanogos.
Timpanogos?
It rhymes
It
with
right, but I just think of her as Pocahontas because that's who came up in my
Well,
children's age.
You know something? Actually, Timpanogos means sleeping lady.
Sleeping lady.
So there you go.
So-
Pocahontas. She probably slept sometime.
Yeah, well, she probably, how you say that, she would wake us all up because we would have to go slow and we might not make it. But you know what? I'm just all about the challenge of us physically having a goal to, so what if we only make it halfway? I'm sure some of them are going to make it. We'll have to have 3 levels of people. Who comes down first? Who comes down second? And who comes down third?
There's lots of great hikes up there. You don't have to hike the whole thing to get great hikes. Yeah, lots of great hikes.
Okay, there we go, guys. The how you say that? The challenge of physical fitness. Okay, Greg, I have a couple of questions, and I'm actually going to start with the last one first.
Mhm.
Why did you guys come up with Royal now? And what brought you to that point that allowed you to move forward with SolleRoyal? Like,
Yeah.
why now?
Okay.
The
Well,
collagen's out there, it's trendy, it's
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, because there are some trendy things that are out there that honestly don't move us forward, don't move people forward. This one is one that does, actually. And that's my first answer on why did we do it? Because the more we looked at it, and I'll show you that. And if you don't, if the New England Patriots can make me co-host,
the New England Patriots. I love it.
I'll show you some slides. Is that okay? If I share some
Yes,
slides?
bring it on.
Okay. She's gonna make me co-host here. Awesome. Okay, let me show you some. I'll tell you the eye opener for me, because I knew, and Chris knows this because we've known each other for so long. Collagen does a lot of different things, and we've known that, but what different things and how pervasive is it in the body? When you take a quick review, it makes you sit back and think, why isn't this always a focus of my health anyway? Like, however I build my daily program, I should be feeding my body's production of it because it has to be producing it all the time. Because look at, so, why collagen, and you can probably see this slide here, and I'm going to bounce around, okay, if it's all right. Obviously, joints and flexibility and tissues, strength, elasticity. Like, I think about the lungs right now. If they don't bend, expand, and contract, they don't work. I mean, they only do that because of collagen. You could break it down that way. There are more factors, I know that, but you could break it down. And absolutely, I think that's truth. Plus the body's built to repair every day to some degree, to the degree that we let it, if we give it a chance and we give it enough variation of nutrition so that we're covering the needs. And if we're giving it enough concentration based on our life right now, like to Chris's point, what's our stress level like? Because stress level totally burns nutrients, right? At a different level. And it also slows down and sometimes even shuts down those rebuilds, because the body's just trying to survive. So collagen to me, because it's part of so many things, I mean, look at all the things on this slide, right? That's not even enough, okay? But that's one reason to answer Chris's question. Next one is, it's not just about the structure. I love that Dr. Allison said, look, there's two parts to this. There's your structural, and guess what collagen also does? It's a messenger. It actually affects cell behavior. Like, so think about health. You know, we try to look at it holistically, right? The body's trying to talk to itself. And when I say body, back to Chris's point, that's always passes through here, like the brain and all those things that connect to it, right? If that communication gets interrupted, stopped, slowed down, okay, then we deal with, oh, I'm older now, things don't work like they did, or I'm sick right now, or whatever the thing is that we just go, I got to get used to this. I'm not going to be like I want to be. So that part is the part that we really don't want people to fall into. When we say people, we mean ourselves too, right? We always include ourselves. We want to constantly break down that limiting thought process. And so if we can talk better, if our cells can talk better, everything involved with the messaging and the coordination, to me, of all these wonderful vital processes of the body, I can make a difference if I can actually put better raw material, better fuel for the body, because there is a difference in the quality of fuel. That I can totally testify to you, because I've been in this long enough to know you upgrade your raw material, you will upgrade results, right? So that's the other thing. And then finally, here's my favorite one. This is the one this is the only one I was thinking of when you told me that question, Chris. Because there are 28 different kinds of collagen. It's not like you go get collagen and you eat it, because that's one kind. It's sourced from a certain place, and they have different places, right, that you can get it. And it's nice because it's all put together, but your body has to digest it and break it down again. But at least you got all those raw materials, right, that it's all put together of if you're eating collagen that's already sort of, we call it common collagen. But the problem is, are you going to eat 20 to 28 different kinds? And when your body has to form it and send it, because you digest it, the body has to break it down to small enough increments. It's not just the stomach, right? We get into the small intestine, you get these other more finely, what's the word, like absorbing enzymes from the pancreas that get released after the stomach, break it even smaller and in different ways, some of which we understand, but we do not understand everything, even though I think sometimes we think we feel we do in science, right? So we just know this, that we break it down and the body puts it where there's need. Well, I don't know how you'd ever cover all those 28 different kinds of collagen. So that's the rest of the answer, Chris, on why this. Because one thing I'm convinced of is, if you can look at the factors that are part of collagen, concentrated proteins, like proteins in bigger amounts, in fact, much bigger, and then making sure all the right amino acids that are known to be part of collagen. Allison mentioned this in the launch of SolleRoyal. We cover those famous ones in spades, but we also know they get substituted out. Some of them get substituted out for other amino acids because the body chooses to do it. And I'd like to hear from someone who can explain to me why. I'm not sure we just know the body does it. And so for me, you got 28 different kinds. Okay, well, which kinds aren't as important? Like we talk about skin, and it's awesome for vibrant skin, and on these tissues that are part of how we look and feel. But what about, like, the collagen goes into discs in your back? Okay, is that less important? Ooh, try to live without any discs. Or You know what I mean? The collagen that goes into parts of your lung, collagen that goes into various tissues that communicate how the body fixes itself. So for me, that is why SolleRoyal, it's about taking something that's good and important all the time in health and saying, how can we upgrade that and cover all the bases if possible in a formula so that we use those materials that the body needs, regardless of where we need to personally rebuild, and do it in large enough amounts that that someone will see a difference and stick with it, and stick with it, including it some way, whether they blend it or mix it or drink it alone. I mean, I like it alone right now, but I'll probably blend it in time into other stuff. That doesn't matter to me anyway, but it needs to be part of every day. So those are a couple of the answers to that first question, Chris.
Thank you so much. I really like that you brought up the point of us just taking it and enhancing the way in which the body already does so much. You know, proteins equal amino acids equals where we get these collagen peptides. They have to be broken down, and so few people are breaking those down today. And
Yeah.
I get to see that, you know, Greg, and that's what I'm having this morning is my collagen. Johnny likes it blended with a banana. He's already figured that one out. We had to get rid of some
Probably
bananas.
tasty.
Oh, he loved it. He was like, oh man, this is going to be the best malt. Oh my. Anybody has any question or comments from that part? Let's see. I like it with half a lemon. Oh wow, Marissa, very good. I didn't think about trying it that way. Okay, Greg, we're going to move on to the next question.
Okay, I have one comment, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
When Greg said, when Greg said we upgrade your material, oh, so sorry. When you upgrade your material, you upgrade your results. That really hit home because that's what Soul does. You know, we don't have any inferior, you know, thanks to the Soul Certain Guarantee, we always know we have that. But that is one of the statements that he said that really stuck out. When you upgrade your material, you upgrade your results. So I think that was very, very key.
Thank you, Corinne, for bringing that up because that is a very good key point to the way in which that Greg loves to formulate products. Because a lot of people will come in and say, you know, I hate to use this price point word, but Greg, you know, did mention the 3 different price points. But if you want results in your body, you have to upgrade the potency and the proper proprietary blend. Some of you know that I had a hairline fracture in a foot last year in July. I'm here to tell you that this week I ran on a treadmill, and I really think this has a lot to do with it. So, I mean, I didn't run a lot, but I did run on a treadmill. And after a hairline fracture and injury to a foot at 6 months out, I think that that's profound for me. All right. Any other key points, key takeaways? Corinne, type it in there so that way we have it as the transcript. Thank you.
Chris,
Somebody will. Okay, go ahead, Amy. I was trying to figure out, my
No, you're good.
Smaller, y'all got to figure that out.
So what I just wanted to add is it really hit me, Greg, when you said, you know, we talked about it in the webinar that we did when we launched SolleRoyal, how there are 28 different types of collagen. And when you brought up disc space, that hit home with me because I have a degenerative disc injury. And I'm so excited to see what SolleRoyal does for me. That's just a personal experience. But what I think is just so cool in you saying that our body breaks down the collagen that we eat or the protein that we eat, and then it goes wherever we need it to go. And I think that is so huge because when I talk to my clients, the things that I'm always so proud about with Soul is I kind of use like the dartboard analogy. When you're taking like an isolate or something specific, you're throwing the dart at the dartboard and hoping that it hits the bullseye. But with Soul, we create our formulas to be so synergistic and so versatile that we're hitting so many targets. It's like the most amazing thing. And so we have this confidence that we know that what we're taking is going to hit the mark because we've all experienced it. And that's why every single one of us are here, is because we've seen a difference or a change in our health, in our family's health, or the health of the people that we're helping. And I'm super excited about this on a personal level because I can't wait to see what it does for me. And so I have just one more testimony to add to the list of things that I get to share with my clients. So thank you for this. It's really, I'm just so thankful that we have this available for us.
Thanks, Amy. And you know something, if I could jump in, if I could add something to that point, you know, because I think you can, like you mentioned, isolates, or the way Dr. Allison calls them, common collagen. If you take common collagen, if you are fortunate to have the rest of your nutrition have enough of the known complementary, like vitamin C and hyaluronic acid and biotin and the family of antioxidants known as anthocyanins, and there are a few of them that are known as absolutely crucial. So I can take a common collagen and go, hey, I noticed a result. That's because those peptides got combined with enough of the other things in your diet that you noticed it. Because if you didn't have the others, you wouldn't. And that's back to your point. It's always much more complete and holistic than we think, which is why a diverse source of the proteins is important. So like if you look at the 4 proteins, and I don't know if Chris, if we were going to go there today, I'm jumping over here. Okay.
Absolutely go there, because I think that was one of the next questions.
Okay. So here's the thing. This is an example. I'm not going to tell you I get this slide, but this is an example of Dr. Allison saying, look, those peptides go through these 4 different, at least, transformations to get to collagen. And each one of those requires a chemical transformation that requires different components. Now that I can remember that I've got to have all these other things to transform it the way it's supposed to be. Remember, we need different types of it in the body. And this won't happen if we don't have this process. So what have we learned from that? Okay, certain amino acids are essential. And I'm so sorry I'm jumping because it's way too much detail. We went through all this.
It's good.
But we also need these things and more. These are just proven in quantity, okay? All of them. All of this stuff is needed, okay? And I'm going to jump over here. This is just a little bit of concern that you can get with heavy metals. The body stores heavy metals deep to protect you. So whenever we use animal products, and that's just why in general we like plant source, it's easier to be cleaner, okay? We'll just say it that way. It is easier to be cleaner, number 1, when it's plant source. Number 2, it's easier for the body to process. Those 2, and now I'm not saying every single plant, some plants weren't meant to be processed, but those plants that are known to be medicinal and therapeutic, they are easier for the body to break down and build with. So that's another reason why plants. So I'm jumping, and I have to add this last thing to make this point. Stress is the great like accelerator or eliminator, like inhibitor. It can go both directions. When it's good, when our management of it's good and things are good, positive thoughts, hope, love, friendship, body does well and improves even with the same raw materials. And when it's the flip side, we can be putting good stuff in, and we need to address the stress too. So that's why we have to also have plants have stress modulators in them, especially the more we learn about adaptogens. And so that's the other reason is they actually directly influence how we manage it. Okay, so she talked about Harvard recommending you got to eat enough of the right proteins, fruits, veggies, and so that you'll get all these factors. Okay, that's just their statement. Okay, and I'm going to jump over her references, but here's what I wanted to show you. Those 4 proteins, they're plant source, and they're not just the powder. The purple sweet potato is actually 4 times concentrated. If you Google purple sweet potato and really dig a little bit, by definition, its deep color is a reflection of its much greater therapeutic concentration of different aspects that are directly involved in collagen. Now, they're directly involved in a bunch of things, like Amy said, but this product's about collagen, and absolutely they are in that too. But the other proteins, the pumpkin and the sunflower, we didn't just put powder in here. You know, those 2 are actually formulated, they're concentrated, to the proteins, to the amino acids in them. So they would even be to even a greater degree. And then finally, royal jelly. which is a unique substance. Bee products are unique in general. They don't have any bee in them. They're actually formed of plant components that the bees process in a unique way. Well, there are protein peptides that your body will use that only exist in that jelly, that don't exist anywhere else. And not only that, they've shown some of the other, they're high in B vitamins. And Chris could probably give you, and maybe Corinne too, I don't know, could give you a half-hour class on, or an hour class on bee jelly. I'm guessing, Chris.
Yep. Yeah.
But it's a super nutrient, a super nutrient. Well, now they're seeing studies that show it greatly accelerates your collagen production. One of these components that's in the royal jelly. So that's why they're in there. Well, that's the point. We didn't just do one, because most formulas, it's like you pick one that you love. It's not just purple sweet potato. We could have done royal. It's a very royal color, isn't it? The purple sweet potato. That we could have done that, but you would have missed out, and we would have missed out on the unique components in pumpkin and sunflower, and which also contain healthy omegas and the royal jelly. And so it really a varied source of more easily digestible plant protein with all the other stuff that the plants have in them. Like that's the base of the whole thing. And honestly, all that I've said so far, I probably talked way too much, okay? But that is literally 1/3 of the story. It's only 1/3 of the story. The other 2/3, that the Regal Superfruit blend, and then the collagen what we call the collagen catalyst and mood enhancing blend, those are equally important in here and are equally diverse. They are a group of nutrients that we don't have in anything else, that come from various continents of the world, that are in concentrations. And I will just tell you right now, that last group that you see on this slide, where you can see, I don't know if you can see the butterfly pea. It says a 10-to-1 extract. It's a 10 times extract. And by the way, it's the whole plant, not just the flower that gets used in the matcha tea. Like a favorite tea right now is matcha and butterfly pea, but they just use the flower. We actually use the flower and everything else too, because there's other important components in the rest of the plant. Well, I'll tell you right now, they're all, I'm trying to think if almost all of them are 10-to-1 or more. We just don't always list it because we don't want to list our entire formula for the world.
Yeah.
But it's actually super concentrated, so that when you get it, it's like you're getting about a capsule of every one of those. Like if you were to put it in a capsule and say, I'm going to take that too. And that's the part that gets missed with collagen, is enough of the cofactors, enough of the other things, without which it's not going to get produced in all its varieties and in the amounts that we need to, because I mean, we're all like that, Amy. We all have our thing that is kind of like out of balance right now. We're trying to build, repair, that's life, right? Anyway, Chris, I'm yammering on. It's back to you.
So I see that Dr. Victoria wrote a testimony, and I'll come to it. But I really wanted to bring up this point because of the fact that in my office, I have individually sold B7, which is biotin, at high milligrams for people. Of course, you make friends with your hairdresser, and, she's always asking you about different things of what you might use. So one of your points, Greg, that you made is SolleRoyal. You get 233 times the intake of vitamin B7 to help catalyst in the body making collagen. Why did you make that choice? And I want to remind everybody that B7 is biotin. And people take biotin as a single, but here we are. This is not a synthetic B7. And Greg, I think that's what I really want you to come from, is this is not synthetic. This is bioavailable for the body.
Yeah. I mean, Chris, thanks for bringing that up. Here's the thing. And people wonder, why'd you put so much in there? What we do, we don't build the formulas to certain milligrams of isolated components. Even as important as B7 is, we build them to the full picture of a variety of key sources for the objective of the formula. Did you know that this peptide blend that we have, all 4 of those have biotin in them? Naturally.
I love it.
All 4 of them.
Love it.
And some of the other ingredients do too. So once we got done, we thought, let's test it and see how much we're curious out of curiosity. We knew it was going to be super high. I will not forget the study that Allison talked about, Dr. Allison, in the launch, where she showed Camu Camu in this middle group here. Camu Camu is like a tart cherry, except it's probably an adaptogen. It's much more. Grows in Brazil and other countries in South America. And they did a study with, but it's the same principle that Chris just said about biotin. They did it with vitamin C. So they had people take for 1 week, 7 days, smokers, just take 1,050 milligrams. So that's like the big tablets of vitamin C. And take that every day. And I'm trying to think if they took 1 or 2 a day, something like that. And then the others just drank Camu Camu juice, known to be super high in vitamin C. Would you know they went back after and they measured all the different inflammatory markers in the body, how well it's dealing with, because with smoking, you know, you're just much harder now on your body. It has to do all its normal work plus. So, and like way plus, right? It can really, we know it can really lead to health situations that are difficult. And for some people, they just can't overcome them with the loads. So what does the study show us? In its natural form, and because Camu Camu includes a bunch of other things besides just C, what we're really trying to do is change the internal balance of the body, the situation where the body can address all its concerns, instead of picking one thing and isolating, you know, and fixing that, and then we got to figure out the next thing. So it's the same with biotin. I really believe that what Chris teaches, we try to build that into all our formulas. We try to save you having to go out and go, okay, what are the other factors? Okay, I got to buy a bottle of this. I got to buy a bottle of that. And so sometimes people will look at the price point and go, oh, Sol's expensive. It's actually less expensive for a program that will work, because you don't have to buy all the components and then get it to work. And when I mean work, I mean move the body toward a balance where it can more easily stay there. That's kind of what work is to us. Anyway, yeah, Chris, back to you.
Oh my God, Greg, that you just made some very, very valuable points that I have to often, you know, it's one of those things that I beat my head against the wall of saying over and over again. And, you know, to help people understand these formulas and this synergistic property of getting all the nutrients that you need instead of, you know, one product here, one product here. I mean, we used to line up supplement lines and everybody wanted to take everything individually. And to bring that and house it all in one formula, that's where we as specialists have to step up to the plate and educate that. And I love the way you just brought it up, because that's what, you know, you're bringing to the table today and confirming. Marissa, you want to read what you wrote?
Sure. It's also more efficient for the everyday consumer. It's one thing that delivers so much to the body. It doesn't get more simplified than that. I think about all the other decisions and choices we have to make with our day. This is one scoop in water and your body is super powered.
I love that comment. It's a superpower. I wonder if it's superpower is we're gonna take a picture of Greg's head, and we're gonna like see if any new hair growths come in.
I need it. Hey, that got me excited, because some of the ingredients help with that, you know.
Yeah. I'm picking on Greg in that aspect, and you know, the whole thing is that, you know, Greg's vision is what I want you guys to understand, is that this is about this whole, you do not need to take another supplement for hair. You do not need to take another supplement for skin. You do not need to take another supplement for hair, skin, and nails. You know, oftentimes I have people who come to me and leave with 5 products because of hair, skin, nail. This is my excitement. This one product. And I think, you know, Greg, can you wrap up on that like theory of, you know, we're not having to go out and search for so much more in this hair, skin, nail. And, you know, people forget hair, skin, nails is also about bones, and it's also about spinal fluid and bone marrow. When we're getting into the bone marrow, guys, we're talking about something major here. So Greg, conclude up in this theory on the hair, skin, and nail philosophy and how Soul is just going to encompass this thought.
I will, Chris. In fact, I just need to add one point to that too.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to add something to it, you're going to see a big difference if you find the right quantity for you of this. That's why we have two sizes, and it's such a great point. It's why we did individual serving packs and the bulk bag here that I'm holding, the 40 serving, so that you could, if you're working on something unique, you know, like Amy's going to work on it. And by the way, Amy, I'm a little bit like you with the back thing because of all the running, the distance running. So you're going to find your quantity. It might be like the same quantity twice a day. You break it up. So that's sometimes is a different result, right? It might be that you try half again more. You try different levels, right? You find your level. But also we debated a lot and we finally put on the back of this. You see the two bottles, right? It's the one thing that I would, to Chris's point, you know, you don't need to do anything else. If you want to wow yourself or somebody, try it with these two. Try Soul Megas and Longevity, because here's the thing, they're focused in a certain part of that, the omega part of it. And with Longevity, remember, it's only been about a year since we launched that, particularly hair growth and nail growth. You know, I've got some stories I could tell you on that. I'm sure all of you do. So you add that in, it cracks me up, especially men who can't figure out why their nails are growing that fast and they have to be cutting them every week. Because men we don't have a clue how often we even should cut them. Usually just wait till they break off and that solves the problem. But I mean, seriously, this is meant to be complete, and you can boost it with those other two if you're really wanting to do an intense makeover with that. I think the reason that it is what Chris says is because of this final group. If you look on the, and I'm just gonna like jump, okay? I'm gonna jump here past, because when you get all these colors, so I'm getting past the proteins here. Because I've already kind of covered that they do other things besides just the collagen, okay? These proteins, royal jelly, there's your biotin right there in the royal jelly. Folic acid, people are often wanting to take extra of that. When it comes to hair, skin, and nails and the so-called beauty, which beauty vitamins, we should never think it's a surface thing. We should never think, oh, maybe I'm just focused on, you know, appearance and I shouldn't. Wait a minute. What people like Chris taught me is that the outer is always a reflection of how much good is and balance is going on inside. Always. In other words, it won't change on the outside unless it's really changed on the inside. So my point is there is no product just for surface, any natural anyway. That's just surface. If it's changing the way we look and feel, like how the skin is, how moist, you know, wrinkle appearances, guess what? It's doing that to all your tissues. And your vital organs and these other processes will work better, right? So to me, it's never like a thin thing. It's always part of full, complete, deep health and balance. But oh, sorry, I'm just jumping here. But so these are this baobab. Oh my gosh, you guys. Superfood during pregnancy. I'm gonna throw these little nuggets while I jump over to you. And Chris mentioned the blood and the bone marrow. That's why some of these things happen. Baobab is a pretty incredible fruit. This is from Valerie's. Valerie talked about vitamin C. Camu. Okay, I already told you about the study, but these anthocyanins are a bigger group than people think. The color, really deep colored veggies, to me, not only do they happen to be crucial for collagen, and that's why they also help hair and skin, but for many other things that deal with radiant and healthy skin. And if the skin's healthy, that's a reflection of a lot of other healthy going on in the body, like your body's eliminating what it needs to eliminate. Your lymph is moving well. I mean, that stuff, your digestive system is moving well. That stuff can't be a problem if your skin looks good, and vice, you know, does that work backwards? So anyway, jumping to this is what I told you about Camu. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. So this Moringa in here, one of the reasons we chose it for the adaptogen in here Indian adaptogenic herbs like Mangista in the Amitox and Moringa in SolleRoyal are amazing for the skin. There are these great adaptogens that deal with stress and all the areas that you want adaptogens to deal. They also happen to be amazing for the skin, and they're used extensively. And you think about people that live in that part of the world, they do have really beautiful skin glow and tone. Well, these are some of the things they're used to using. You can use every part of this tree. Dr. Allison talked about that, like every part of it. However, the part that's the adaptogen is the leaf. Some of the other parts, you use it in a measured amount, right? But the leaf, adaptogen by definition, you can use them in whatever quantities. They're safe for daily use this is how I put it, in the quantity necessary for you. So you have the confidence that like, okay, I'm going to work here, start smaller, and I'm going to build and find my quantity that's making the difference that I want to make. So that's what I want to end with is that, and I apologize, there's so much more in these slides. And I will just tell you this, okay? I know it's kind of early and it is usually when I go run, but I don't mind because I'll just go run after. So you tell me if there's another time you want me to come on and talk. I could talk about the rest of that group or even the fruits. You just tell me, okay? I'll absolutely come anytime because I love this stuff even more than running. So Moringa is a super key. Oh, and I don't know if you saw the pictures on the launch of this painter's palette. Those were all. It doesn't even do it justice. It doesn't come close. Pictures don't come close to show you how vibrant. You should see the Moringa. It is like a green I've never seen. It's a unique and vibrant, and because it has its mix that's different than any other mix of actives. And it's one of the reasons why, what a great skin adaptogen.
I'm really looking forward on that Moringa to see the blood purifying and blood building properties because of those greens. Greg, it was so wonderful to hear these aspects. I don't think I could have brought them to the table any better. And Jessica asked the question, we have on the back of the bag that, suggesting the longevity and the omegas. Do we take them all at the same time, or is it okay just in that 24-hour period that, you're just getting these nutrients in and they're benefiting the body? What's your take on that question?
Oh, I have a really simplistic take because you can teach them better than I can on that, Chris.
No.
To me, I'll just answer it this way. It depends on what I'm doing and the way I'm feeling and what I'm going through. Sometimes I take them together. Sometimes I don't. But it's not like I sit there always and make a big decision out of it. It's just there are times when I'm going to take stuff together, and there are times when I'm going to separate it. So I don't know, Chris, if you have guidelines that you give people on this one. In this one in particular, I don't see any problem with doing royal. Like you take your capsules of 2 of longevity and say 1 or 2 of the Soul Megas. Like I don't think you have to take as much. You have some omegas in royal too. If you're taking them together, and I just take them and then I get to sip on my shake, my royal shake. So that's me.
Right. And Greg, in my situation, just as the type of work that I do, it would all depend on what that person's accomplishments or what are their objectives in their health, would determine that. But the first month, I am doing that 100%. Right now, I'm drinking my SolleRoyal, and Greg, I'm so disappointed. I have to put it in a Soul Complete bottle. Can you fix?
I know we need one. We need a SolleRoyal one.
And your wife told me, Chris, don't put it in such a big bottle, and I did. I had to share it with Johnny, Donna. So my point to you, Greg, is, we need some shaker bottles for that Royal. I'm going to tell Kendall. Tell Kendall, get on that, okay? Yeah. Because we're really deprived as women here, and the men, the best job you could do is make the wife happy in the home. well, what else too? It's like you don't put a Soul Renew in a Cinemate mug; it ruins it. You got to have it in the right thing. Okay, yeah, I'm so glad you understand that theory because some of us need that problem solved. So, Greg, I really, really want to thank you because I think you bring a compliment to sometimes the way in which that I'm teaching something. You really brought in points and from I'm going to call it right brain, left brain type learning, because Greg just has a way of easing into this learning. It helps you take it in. It helps you be able to go back and speak it to someone else. You've brought up so many good points. I personally can't wait for this video to come out because I will be watching this or sending this. A lot of people know that Lisa and I work with a lot of ALS people. I'm going to tell you, we're really, really going to be excited to see some of the building blocks that this may bring to the table, because amino acids for them are imperative because their body's not having that ability to convert it. I thought she was still on the call, but I know that every single person that we're working with is going to get a copy of this video. And the reason being is because of the simple fact that it's about our building blocks. When we can bring to the table what our body needs, which is what I love you do, we will change so many people's lives and so much, in this deep level of science that everybody says, I don't understand all of this. You don't have to understand anything. Just take your products. Thank you, Greg. And thank you for agreeing to come back when we need you. And we won't abuse you, but we might, I don't know, Corinne twisting his arm once a month right now.
I like that idea. I like that idea.
Okay. Well, we'll stay in touch, and we are so looking forward. Give us the little blurb about the virtual 2022. Why should we be on there? Why should we still be getting people to join? Come on, Greg, give me one closing.
Okay, well, on the virtual, they did ask me to do some more, to bring up a few more points on SolleRoyal. I'm actually going to do a presentation on it,
Ooh.
pulling from some of the information here that I haven't covered today. So yeah, because there's so much to talk about there. Honestly, this formula it's doing some wonderful things, and we'll all be learning as it gets put to use, right? It's a new formula.
Very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So looking forward to the virtual kickoff. We can't wait to get excited with you guys and celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Soul. Thank you so much for having this vision, for bringing us in, and for just, helping us ride along with you. We're really enjoying this. Corinne, last closing statements?
Just, I love it. I'm like Greg. I woke up with a little bit of a frog